Hello and welcome to the STB Racing League Season 15 Mexican Grand Prix live from the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City. We are here back in a new year, a new decade, and we have got 4 races remaining of what is going to be a very spicy championship battle. Eke leads the championship by 33 points to XRVR G1 Dominic. We're here in Mexico City, and this is going to be an absolutely incredible Grand Prix that we're going to be witnessing here for the drivers. Mexico always been a track which has been very popular with spectators in terms of its long straight. It's I believe the longest straight on the Formula 1 calendar amongst those of Monza, Baku, and of course Shanghai. Now, unfortunately for the moment, Riggsy's not currently with me because he's had to go and quickly do something unexpectedly. So I am going to be alone for the first part of qualifying. But what a great 2 weeks it's been for the league. All the drivers have been chilled, they've been resting, they've been just absolutely just been on zero sort of attack, really. You know, 2 weeks of great resting, and now they're back. Ready for battle in Mexico. Last time out in Japan was a very controversial race for the 2 title contenders. We had Eke and Dominic who actually collided in the closing few laps of the race, and that was not good at all for especially Eke, of course, who was taken out of the Grand Prix, and then Dominic was given a warning for the racing incident. So and that was dealing with the racing incident 3 weeks now actually in Japan, because obviously we was due to do the Mexican Grand Prix the week before the Christmas break, but unfortunately the servers did not work that evening. So unfortunately the Mexican Grand Prix has been postponed till tonight, the 6th of January, and we're so excited, so excited to be back racing. And I've said that so many times, but I can't emphasise it enough. Dominic goes P1, 1:14.1. That's a good bank lap time actually from Karen driver. And Matty has done his lap on a set of hards, and we're going to actually be interviewing Matty here in qualifying this evening for the Mexican Grand Prix. So we're going to just get him in as Maurice, our new driver, has disconnected from the session. So we're just going to see if we can get him back into the lobby. But I don't think the invites are working on the lobby, so that's great news. Okay, hello to Matty. Hello, welcome to the interview. Make sure to include your audio. So you've started your 2020 winning an STB on a set of hards. How are you feeling ahead of the Mexican Grand Prix?
Quite confident, but I feel like everyone else is quite strong in this track as well, so I'm just going to have to try as hard as I can to see where I can get, really.
I don't even invite friends, he's put on invite anyway. Okay. Okay, so, sorry Matt, I'm just trying to get Maurice back into the lobby. So we're here in Mexico, of course, and Mexico has not really been a good race for you. A few seasons ago, you had that big sort of collision or some sort of bad luck anyway back then. Obviously, here in Mexico, new season, new decade. What are your hopes and aspirations for not only this race, but the upcoming races, and of course next season if you're going to be racing? What are your expectations ahead of your time in 2020?
Well, a real good target for me was always going to be like top 5, but I think more realistic now is just to try and get back into the top 10. I just need to get some points right now, as I've had really bad luck, and pace has sometimes not been there when I did have the luck though. So I've been struggling on points, so it's just picking those points up is important right now. So I think it's just a solid top, say 8 is probably good for me for the next 4 races.
And obviously we're coming up to the end of the season now, Matty. Who do you see as your big your big championship rivals for the conclusion of the season?
I don't think I have many in terms of in the points, not really, but pace-wise, I don't know. The grid's always changing from race to race, so it's kind of hard to gauge where I'm going to be. But all I'm going to do is try and get into the top 10, which is just going to be my target. But drivers-wise, I don't know really. But it's all going to be like just to see how well I can do, and just yeah, from there on.
Okay. One final question. Any ideas about the weather, or are you going to keep that a secret for us to find out?
Uh, Weather looks good, but that's all I'm going to say really.
Weather looks good.
Yeah, for now.
Okay, that could be interpreted in many ways. Okay, Matty, thank you, and we wish you luck for tonight's Mexican Grand Prix.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Bye.
So there you go. As Mercury there, big sort of corner cut moment there from the Toro Rosso, and he's now going to come across the line. It's going to be a strong lap. It's going to be P3 at 114.4, 3 tenths adrift of Hamjam and Dominic. So Dominic's really putting his hammer down. Of course, championship contender with this guy right here, Eke00. He's going for his second STB championship here in this season. So we should be able to, if he can start 2020 off and be champion, then the gap is 33 points. So we've got 3 races remaining. So unfortunately, he can't win it this evening. I don't think he can't win it this evening. But perhaps maybe America. But it's all about what Dominic can do here. And of course, we've got so many great other drivers. We've got I would say Alphabab. He's missing this evening, unfortunately. So he had a great run in Japan. Urban Unicorn. He's up there. Jamham, the 2 Jamhams are up there. Mercury's even up there at the moment. So we've got some big drivers. Maurice is pretty strong as well when he can get his pace up and show us what he's made of. But Eke now coming around the final corner there, and it's going to be a 13.8, but it's invalidated. So that's not good at all there for Eke00 as he starts his running in STBs here for 2020, and he's down in P17 now, invalidated lap time. Dominic's up in a PY, 114 point dead exactly there. So that's a great start for him in qualifying. 10th up now on Hamjam. I believe that was just Rigsy there. Rigsy, are you there? No, I thought, oh yes, maybe so. I don't know. Buckley then is currently on the lap. He's got some traffic ahead of him here in sector number 1. It's a 27.7. I don't really know about the sector times in Mexico, but I think that could well be a decent sort of lap there from the Renault as Matt gets out of the way Buckley there, and Buckley can try and navigate his way through the S section now. He's gone really wide. He's not been able to keep in the white lines. He's up on his time. He gets out of his way, coming around the Forel Stadium section, Forest Soil I think it's called, or something like that. Come around the final corner, going into the pit lane. That's a disappointing lap there from the Renault. That may have been a bit of speeding into the pit lane there. So Maurice then, let's have a look at what he's up to, because he's a new driver into the league, joining Alfa Romeo this evening. Only a reserve, but I'm sure he'll want to prove himself to get that full-time seat from Brazil. We're going to see what he's capable of here in Mexico. Closing down into turn 1 then. It's a pretty difficult first chicane actually. Pretty difficult in terms of the corner cutting. It's very difficult not to corner cut. 27.7. It's the same sector as time as Buckley did. Yellow flags in the sector.
That me?
Rigsy, have you got your audio included?
That's included. I have returned. I do apologise for the delay.
Okay, so Rigsy is back, everyone. Rigsy's just had to do something unexpectedly. If you are joining the stream or the race now, or the broadcast, Rigsy is now back. So Rigsy, just been talking about how we're back in 2020 now after a great 2 weeks rest. How are you feeling at the moment? Because it must be very special to be back. I know you're pumped for this Mexican race.
Oh no, definitely, Maldy. I firstly just want to apologise to the drivers, teams, viewers, neutrals, everybody. I had just a small inconvenience there. I've returned and I'm here for the full haul. I'm here for the rest of the qualifying. I'll definitely be here for the race. I just want to reiterate the message of Maldi there. I want to wish everybody and the teams, drivers, everybody had a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and they're just as excited to be back as I am, because honestly with Formula 1 it's been very quiet, so I'm more than thrilled to be back after for the new year, and it's the first race of a new decade as well, so that'll be another
should be very interesting first race of the decade, and it's our second decade in STB. Of course, we ran in the 2010s, and now we're in 2020, so very special, which I'm sure every other league has, but don't worry about it. We're on board now with XX Jamham XX, and I believe he was either a 10th or 2 tenths up in the first sector. I can't really remember. And now he's going to come through the S section now, Rigsy, which actually is very difficult, and I think he's backed off his lap.
It's Mexico is quite bad for that. I mean, the track is very short, and when you look at it, I feel like when you look at the actual track layout, it's got a very similar kind of shape as Monza. Obviously, it's different in many ways, but I mean the actual kind of general layout, when you look at it at a first glance, it just looks like Monza. The last sector is a really kind of difficult bit, because I feel like you need to have a lot of clear air through there before you start a lap. And it's really important to get the exit outside the final turn, because the straight down to turn 1 is, I think it is the longest run down to turn 1 in the Formula 1 season, so maybe being in pole position isn't really where you want to be. You're kind of the same way what we had in Russia, where it'll be like the person that qualifies in the second row might benefit the most, but we'll need to see how that goes. I mean, we've seen in previous races in Mexico, in real life, and probably in STB and other racing leagues that are spectators.
I got my first win here, Rigsy, so it's a good track for me.
Mexico is a really good track. I do really like the track myself. Like, I'm a personal fan of it. Like, I think like.
Okay, sorry, Rigsy. I've got some information coming on from the Toro Rosso team. Rigsy is Echo P2. LRS Mercury has got a DRS failure, so it's not a good start for the Toro Rosso team. Got a little quick message through, and he's got a DRS failure as Dominic there improves to a 113.8, but that is not good, because he needs that DRS, Mercury does, for the first straight. Riggs, I just want to talk about how unique this track is in terms of it's named by 2 drivers, just like Canada. It's not really unique, but it's special, is the word to really use. It's named after the Rodriguez brothers that crashed, I believe, both here. Ricardo Rodriguez crashed at the final corner. So what sort of significance does that have to the actual how special this Mexican Grand Prix actually is in Formula 1?
Well, I'm still in Mexico. Like, I mean, like the Rodriguez brothers, like back in the 50s and 60s, and I think they maybe even raced in the early 70s as well. Like, they were very iconic for Mexico. They put Formula 1 on the map for Mexico, and they put Mexico on the Formula 1 map as well. It is a very iconic circuit to come to, but it has a same kind of relationship as Austria does with Formula 1. Like, it's one for a certain length of time, and then it's off for a certain length of time, then it's back, and it's off, and it's back.
Yeah, it's, oh, wait there, Matt's on a decent lap here. P6 on his return to racing. Look at that. Sorry, Riggs there. P6 for Matty there. We usually see him like P14, so there's a great effort there. Anyone wondering, Mex Stalo is not from Mexico, he's from Chile, but he's on a pretty strong lap. He goes into P5, 114.5. I'm not gonna. But decent display there from Stalo, but he is in a Mexican esports team, so he'll be running. He'll be really trying to get that get those good points for the Mexican spectators.
And you've subtly put a lot of weight on his shoulders as well, telling us that he's an esports team member for in Mexico for a Mexican team. So he's kind of got the fans and the neutrals kind of just sitting there watching him, just watching how he performs here. He's at a home track for Stalio as well. But I mean, it's like Mexico. It's really like in real life they've got Sergio Perez as their main icon for Formula 1. And when they come to Mexico, they're one of the loudest. I think the Mexican fan base is one of the strongest that Formula One has, and I think it is important to keep Mexico on the calendar for as long as it possibly can.
Yeah, we've definitely saw that, Rigsy, at the final corner, the one that Hamjam's just came through there, the Beresol Stadium. That's a very, very iconic part. Probably, I would say, one of the most iconic places on the Formula One calendar, really. Up there in the top 5. It's so iconic, so loud as well. So,
and I can definitely agree with that, Maldy.
Special.
But Mexico, the last sector, I mean, personally, I wouldn't have, like, when you get into the sector, it's a tight left and then right. I'd just rather it to be like a kind of quick right, left, right out again, but I mean, that's just a personal nitpick. But the big drama will be, as we're now entering the final minute of the session, Dominic is the qualifying leader at the moment. He's 2 tenths quicker than Eke, who is his main championship rival. So they two potentially looking like they were sharing a front row here in Mexico. We'll have Hamjam close behind in P3. Dominic has gone wide in the stadium section. He's got the Alfa Romeo there. I think he's just letting him by. And I think that's quite a smart play by Dominic there, because he'll probably get a slipstream. Maybe no, because he is backing off a wee bit too much now.
I think he's trying to get his lap ready.
This will be him
let's
getting
have a look then. Dominic versus Eke. Eke's coming on as well, Riggs. It's going to be Dominic versus Eke for the pole position here in Mexico City. Here we go.
So Dominic has got a clear run doing it into turn 1. He's not getting any slipstream. He's not getting any additional
Hamjam goes quicker.
Hamjam is quicker by a 10th. He's slowing down. Sakil not looking to improve. His car's coming to a halt.
Ham's 2 tenths up. P4.
And he will get P4 as the checkered flag waves for the Mexican qualifying session.
Kyle is gone up to P6 there. Good performance there from Kyle in only his second race in the league. He's up in a P7. Buckley there goes P4. That's a strong lap time from him, 1:14.2. But we're looking now at Eke and Dominic, who are currently in the second sector now. So this is getting close. This is getting heating up, because if Dominic beats Eke. If Dominic beats Eke here in Mexico, the gap could potentially be 27 points in the championship. 26. 26, sorry, yes. If it's Dominic first, Eke second. Dominic then is going to come around the final corner. It's going to be an improvement. It's going to be a 1:13.7, so he goes in a P1. It looks like Eke's backed off his lap, so he'll only be in P number 2 for the Mexican Grand Prix. And he comes into the pit lane. Hamjam is going to come round there. AF Libero, not a good qualifying from him. He's all the way down in P16. Fusion's all the way down in P15. I think we are waiting for Hamjam to retire from the session.
He's him and his brother Jamham, they're the only two that are still going around on a lap, albeit it's one of the slower.
Wow, look at that in closing stages. Buckley was up in P3 and now he's all the way down in P7. What's going on there?
Just look how close it is between third down to 8th. It's not even 3 tenths between 5 drivers. 5? 6? Oh wait, my basic math has just kind of went out the window there. But just short of 3 tenths between 6 drivers just really shows how close and competitive this field is. But the most important thing here is the 2 championship contenders share the front row here in Mexico City. And it is in a bit of a disastrous session for Urban Unicorn, who is up in the top 3 in the championship now. He's qualified all the way down in P12, so he will get fresh rubber, but he's going to have 11 other drivers in front of him at the start of this race.
Rigsy, when I interviewed Matty, he said that the weather was very interesting. So I asked him, what is the weather going to be like? And it was like, it's going to be very interesting. So we even could be having some rain for the first time in STB Mexico. So, it's all gonna be good. But first is Dominic, second is Eke, third is Hamjam, fourth is Gravity, fifth Mercury, sixth Churka, seventh all the way down. He was in third at one point. He's now in P7. It's Sync Buckley. 8th, Jamham. 9th was Carl. And 10th, doing it for his esports team from Mexico, is going to be Mextalo, closing out the top 10. So, Rigsy, we're back. back again for another race in STB, ready for the new decade, they're ready for the new year, the new season soon. Actually, you know, we've only got 4 races now in season 15. Who, as it's cloudy, you, Rigsy, what are you expecting for this Mexican Grand Prix? It should be an absolute cracker.
Well, your interview with Matty there when you asked him about the weather, and he said it was going to be interesting. He kind of leaves it open for a lot of kind of theory and theorising about what the weather's going to be. I can see that now it looks cloudy, with the threat of rain potentially. I mean, if there's one thing I noticed in terms of qualifying there, all the drivers opted to qualify on the softest tyre, so I'm assuming that's kind of an indicator to us as spectators, the commentators, and to everybody watching, that there could be some rain on its way. But I mean, there's 36 laps of this race. It'll just be a matter of when it comes in and if it comes in.
Well, Rigsy, if it does rain, Mexico will be hosting the first ever STB wet race of this season. So it's gonna be a special one if it does. Okay then. So Rigsy, you'll be able to hear a bit of change of technique for this race for me. You'll be able to hear it on the start, because I like you, I've been watching the old races, and the commentary was so iconic back then. So we've had a few tips here at STB. We've had a bit of inspiration, and we're going to bring it into Mexico, because Mexico is such an iconic, historic track. Of course, Rigsy, if you remember, when it was hosting in the 80s and early 90s, it had a very different layout, a very dangerous layout actually, Rigsy. How different is the layout compared to 20 years ago?
The layout is obviously
20 years ago, 30 years ago now.
It's purely, most of the layouts for iconic tracks like Mexico, just say Mexico obviously for example and for perspective since we're here, but I mean, before the stadium section in the last sector, that used to just be a flat out right curve back onto the pit straight. And then even this sector here, the sector the drivers are going through now in the middle of the second, that was more dangerous as well, because the corners were tighter, but they were quicker at the same time.
Yes.
And then at the first sector, I mean, the full track was completely different. It still shares a similar layout to its shape that it took 30 years ago, but it's purely just down to the safety standards. I mean, Formula 1, after like deaths of like Ayrton Senna, Roland Ratzenberger at Imola in '94, you'll have deaths of like Bianchi and Antoine Hubert more recent times. They are statements being made by motor racing to improve the spectacle and improve the safety standards, because people underestimate the great risk that drivers put themselves in. But the layout has purely changed just because of safety standards, and I think it is a beneficial change as we're seeing. As we go back to the race layout here, we've got Cody just coming up to the grid slot here.
So,
I'll let you take the
here
lights.
we go, Rigsy. For the Mexican Grand Prix, it is 3 lights, it's 4 lights, it is 5 lights, and for the Mexican Grand Prix, it is go! Eke there, great start on the back then of Dominic. It's going to be a very long run down into turn 1. Your Jamham's already got the overtake done on Eke, and he's going for the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix. Here we go down in turn number 1. Jam's going to lead. No, he's not going to lead. Eke's gone! Eke's gone! No, who's gone? Someone's gone. Gravity's gone there at the Grand Prix.
And Eke's spun as well.
Eke's out! Eke's gone! Eke has gone out of the Mexican Grand Prix. It's disaster for the Red Bulls. Dominic leads. This is crucial for the championship of the STB Race League Season 15. Hamden's at the inside of the Mercury there. Mercury's had a great start up in the podium. Into the podium, ladies. Matched up in the P6. This is absolutely amazing. This is Turn of Fortunes in 2020. Side-by-side action there between Fusion and Urban, but they're not going to have a little battle there. But Fusion's going to be right on the back of Urban now. I can't talk. That is absolute scenes here in Mexico. Eke's doing P17, and Dominic, if he wins, he will be 8 points behind his championship rival. This is absolutely magnificent here in Mexico.
Red Bull have been dealt.
Section now, Rigsy.
Red Bull have definitely been dealt a bad hand there on the start. Mercury got a great start. He was behind his teammate and he was coming alongside. I think he was the lead Red Bull driver. Eke didn't really get much of a great getaway. and then that allowed Hamjam to not only get past Eke, but he used the advantage of Slipstream and Dominic for the lead. They two were going side by side, but he chose to back out at turn 1. Dominic maintained the lead. Mercury spun at turn 1. Eke at turn... no, Mercury, sorry. Gravity spun at turn 1. And Eke at turn 3. It's been a disastrous first lap for the Red Bulls, and they've got it all today for the next 35. But this is music to Dominic's ears. He leads this race. He needs
sorry, there's a DJ Danny getting attacked there by Urban Unicorn down into the corner there.
And they're still side by
very
side.
patient behind these.
And Toxic
Side by side in
Fusion.
the second sector, Fusion is going to get involved, but Danny there up into P number 8, Urban Unicorn keeps in position of P9. But what a start to this 2020 racing here in STB, Rigsy. Absolutely incredible.
Definitely kicking off, especially in the midfield. Toxic Fusions, Urban Unicorn and DJ Danny, they were all tussling over the same piece of tarmac. You love to see it, you really do. But Dominic as well, he's stretching his lead out a wee bit. He's already out of DRS range of Hamjam, which will mean, and Mercury's still keeping tabs. Chuck is there in P4. I mean, the real winners out of this that start was basically everybody up above P10 that's in the points, because they've gained massively. Your big losers, obviously the two Red Bull drivers. It was a very unfortunate incident at first glance, but what we could see, it was
There'll be
just...
a bit of team orders here, actually, Rigsy, so should be a bit of team orders for Red Bull here.
I would be expecting Gravity to let Eke go on the run down to at least turn 4. He needs to get his charge back on. We need to see a display similar to what he did in Russia, because he didn't put a lap in Russian qualifying, and he had to fight his way through the pack in that race, so it'll more or less just be the same. It is very unfortunate.
He's got the overtake done on Urban, Rigsy, sorry, to just interrupt you there. He's got the overtake done on Urban, and Danny now, Matt is holding up a train at the moment.
Matty and the Williams not really keeping up to tabs. It's letting Kyle there in the Haas. He's up at P5. He started P9. Matty's in P11. He started P11. He's now P6. Toxic Fusions, Urban Unicorn, DJ Danny. All these people have gained, and this puts them in great stead for a real opportunity at some points for themselves.
Look at the train that's going to be forming now, Rigsy. This is going to be insane down the pit straight.
And
Matty's in the pit
coming
lane.
in. And Matty's into pit lane.
Matty's in the pit lane. That is disastrous news, and he speeds into it. That is another disastrous race there, but it's going to be a DRS straight. Look at this.
I'm hoping this doesn't end in tears. It doesn't.
Joker's got the overtake done on Mercury into the first corner. That might be a bit of team orders there from Toro Rosso. But there you go. So, Red Bull bad. Their sister team good here in Mexico. Mercury's going to try and come back at him.
I think Mercury's main role here will be just to keep Kyle and the Haas behind. He is looking punchy. He is keeping the pace.
It's kicking off in the midfield. Sorry, it's kicking off in the midfield, Rigsy. We've got DJ Danny now defending from Urban Unicorn. And Fusion's got the overtake done on Danny, it looks like there. So Fusion's up in the P7. And Bucky, what happened to him? Bucky started P7, I believe, and now he's all the way down in P11. Mex Stalo doing the job for Mexico for, I believe it's Mex Esports. Doing the job there, P10 for the racing point. Marie's in his first race here, down in P12, but he's on a set of mediums. Oh, there's going to be a dive bomb move there from Eke, but he can't get the move done on Libero because Libero's got the line there, so that's a decent. Marisa's got some sort of damage as well, Rigsy, if you're seeing this. So
who's got the damage?
I believe he's got some damage.
On Cody,
I think he's got damage. Maurice, I think he may have a bit of damage. I don't know. That's what I could see on my screen.
See.
Mercury then is going to pull. Sorry, Rigsy, I'll keep interrupting you.
No, don't worry.
Mercury has got the overtake done on Cherkat, so let's keep an eye on this, Rigsy. It's a great battle. Him, Cherkat, and Kyle here for P3 of the Grand Prix. Hamjam has lost out. He's now 1.7 seconds. But Mercury said to me at the start of this season, Rigsy, that Mexico is going to be his podium. So we will see here in Mexico.
The next 31 laps will be his proper test to try and maintain that word and come through on that promise. Chuka did take P3 from the lap before. Mercury's got it back. We did suspect that there would be some team orders, but I think that that particular case has just been thrown out the window as well. But I mean, I don't think it personally is in Toro Rosso's interest to fight amongst each other, especially when there's a very quick Haas, a Kyle right behind as well, because a mistake with the two Toro Rossos can mean Kyle takes that podium. But we'll need to see how this race unfolds as the laps count up to 36 in this big train here. Jam Ham, Danny, Urban Unicorn, all in here, and the two Toro Rossos are still going at it. Churka up the inside of 1, Mercury will walk up the inside of 2. Kyle is getting himself set up for a switch back onto 3 for a run at 4 as Mercury goes off onto the runoff there. I think Churka's got the DRS, Mercury doesn't have it, so he'll be a wee bit of sitting duck. Kyle has a wee look up the inside there into 4. He's no alongside, has to sit behind for another lap. I feel like the main overtaking opportunities are on the run down to turn 1 and the run down to turn 4. It is really hard to get a move done anywhere else on this track, which makes it very unique because there is only 2 iconic overtaking action zones. I mean, you would need to have like a superior run on the drive in front if they want to make a move in this windy second sector or in the third. I mean, you have seen like lunges in the third sector and that wee chicane that the Toro Rossos are just coming up to just now. But I mean, I think there will be overtakes there when the race really has some purpose, when it really matters in the final laps, when points can determine position standings in the championship and for constructors. But we'll need to see. I feel like 1 and 4 are the main opportunity overtaking zones for the drivers here this weekend in Mexico.
Kyle is pulling out for an overtake on Mercury, and Mercury is falling down ever so much now. He's falling down all the time, and he's down now. No, he's kept the position.
This will be the point as well where you're going to have to take into consideration with the tyres as well. The tyres will start to be put past their peak. The tyres will start to be good as he looks up into 4. I think the pit windows are about to open. So I feel like most drivers will most likely jump onto a 2-stop strategy. I mean, with the prospect of rain, I mean, it is looking cloudy. Like, it looks darker every time I look up at the sky at a quick glance. But I mean, whether there's rain or not, it's a matter of when, and it's a matter of if. So it's 2 matters. But if the rain doesn't come, the top 8 on the softs will probably be forced onto a 2-stop strategy unless they pit late on as they possibly can on these softs at the start on and go for hard tyres and try and make them last. But I feel like a 2-stop strategy is definitely quicker if it doesn't rain.
Jamham's in the pits then. Urban Unicorn he's going to follow Danny. He's going to have DRS now on the McLaren.
Kyle's putting it alongside Mercury again, and he's ahead of Mercury before turn 1. He's made the move stick for now, but Mercury will be setting the car up for a good exit on 3. And will he have the DRS on the run down to 4? No, it's Kyle that will have the DRS, so he'll have that as his defence. There's a yellow flag out in the first sector.
Oh, Danny span!
And
Danny's out. Danny's gone. Danny span it. Oh, it's all kicking off now, Riggsy, at the back here. We've got Eke. Oh, it's all kicking off here. Bucky's got damage. So there might have been some contact with him and Danny, I believe, maybe, because Danny was spinning and Bucky's got damage now.
If he's picked up some damage, that'll not be that is disastrous for the Renault driver there.
Oh, Buckley.
He's gonna just be straight lining this second sector, and I mean, there's only so much you can do before you can get away with it and before you get penalised for it. If he is getting out the way, I suppose that is probably a fair move, but he needs to watch he doesn't impede the drivers as well, because he can probably face a harsh penalty for that. But if there's one thing I'm wanting to point out, and I mean, it is only lap 9 of 56, it is still really early days as we see Ham Jam and the Alpha coming into the pits from P2, as Eke hasn't made as much movement. I think he is just stuck in this train of traffic, but I mean, it is still like another 26, 27 laps. So we should be watching where Eki's going to be and how he progresses through the field. But I mean, I would have expected him to maybe have been a wee bit further up. But I mean, I think that's maybe just me being a wee bit chucking a little weight onto his shoulders there. I think all he's really wanting to do now is just kind of keep the car in one piece and keep the car facing the right direction and just keeping up with the folk in front and just kind of getting your race pace and your mindset back fully focused onto the race. But we'll need to see what happens with him. Dominic is still your race leader on lap 9 of 36. He's got a 5.2 second lead to chuck it in the Toro Rosso. As we see Cody leaving the session there, he had an incident and he retired. It was a very unfortunate one for the Haas driver. And speaking of Team Haas, his teammate Kyle is up in the podium places. He is fending off Mercury in the Toro Rosso. He's finding that Toxic Fusion, who's right behind Mercury in P5. Urban Unicorn's making his way into the mix, and everybody that I mentioned there, besides Urban Unicorn, has made their way into the pit lane to change tyres, and Urban Unicorn takes P3 on the medium tyres. This is where he'll kind of be in his prime, as the soft runners will start to feel the tyres degrading. There'll be less grip, they'll be slower, but like a good few tenths a second per lap. So this is where Urban Unicorn, this is his chance to strike. And he can potentially make a one-stop strategy work, but it will just be a matter of how the Mercedes team see this strategy unfolding and how quick other drivers will be as the race progresses. It is purely just a waiting game and just to see how folk actually perform on the tyres and perform on the strategies that they've given themselves and the team have outlined for them. There as well. Hamjam pitted, he's out in lap 8, just ahead his 6.2 seconds ahead his brother, who's got Kyle for company, who just pitted there. Mercury and Toxic Fusions are attempting a one-stop, Maldy. They're on the hard tyres, so it says on the Delta, as we see Buckley retiring. I don't know what happened there, but there is, and he's crashed at turn 3, Maldy. He's crashed at the bottom there. The yellow flags are out in sector 1. Drivers will need to go slow while the marshals recover the car. So, disaster for Buckley. He was running well, but he's put it in the wall in lap 11.
Let's see if Eke's going to pit, sorry. Yeah, Eke's in.
Eke's into the pits. Eke's coming into pit lane now. Speed limit are on. You'll see his pit crew coming out onto the pit
Chuck
box
is on
there.
hards as well.
Chuck and Dominic are on the hards here as well. And Eke is on the hards as well. He's thinking the one stop's the way to go. Hamjam's on the medium. Who else did I say was on the mediums there as well, looking through the telemetry, looking through the data. Kyle, he'll be looking at probably a two-stop as well. So, really interesting diversification of strategy here. Like, you've got people trying to go to the end on a set of hards in lap 11, so you've got 25 laps to make that work. And then you've got folk doing a two-stop medium, probably most likely a medium stint, the new is the middle stint, and then soft at the end. And that's where they'll be quickest when the car's light, if the track is less greener, and they'll be on fresh, soft rubber. They'll be the quickest on track by quite a margin. So it is really interesting to see how this race unfolds for here.
So, Rixie, sorry, Urban Unicorn is up into P1 now. He leads the Mexican Grand Prix on a set of mediums. I believe still yet to pit. He should be pitting in a few laps, so that's that's decent there from Urban actually. KF Libero then up into P2. Mariz in his debut race up into P3 Rixie, so that's good. And then Dominic in P4. He's running an incredible race right now. Absolutely incredible race.
Dominic's definitely doing all he needs to do the new, but he's going to have Hamjam for company. He's just put in the fastest lap there with a 1:17.5. It is faster than Dominic as it stands the new. So Dominic will have that Alfa Romeo in his wing mirrors, looking for a wide pass, because if Hamjam really wants to make the two-stop strategy work, he needs the clear there. He can't have Dominic holding up on the hard tyres. So this will be interesting. I'll probably most likely expect Hamjam to be very quick through this second sector, as we see Urban Unicorn picking up a 3-second time penalty there for multiple warnings, so he probably took advantage of the track limits 3 times too many. Stu Joseph came down with a penalty on him there, but Hamjam, I'll expect to see him having so much more grip than Dominic through this middle sector, and you can just see it, left, right, left. Dominic does look quick, but you can just see Hamjam, he's basically hounding Dominic through this second sector into the last. I'll not expect anything. Hamjam's got a wise head on him. He will be waiting through this third sector to get the DRS and to have an easy run at Dominic into turn 1, as we'll see them coming out of the final corner for lap 13. With the start of 14th, not with the start of 14th, they're not the leaders. But Dominic is net leader as it stands. The Alfa Romeo's rear wing flap will open now. And Dominic knows he's defending the inside the now. Hamjam isn't really getting the acceleration, needs to make a charge along to get alongside Dominic, but there is still a DRS run going into turn 4. If he gets 2 and 3 right here, and Dominic gets it there as well, Dominic went a wee bit wide there. If he got too much curb, Dominic will be... He's not really defending it. Dominic's kind of... I mean, he doesn't really need to defend anything because Hamjam's not there, but I mean, I feel like this will be a recurring theme for the next few laps at the very least. So this will be an interesting development in this Grand Prix. Hamjam needs to get past Dominic to make the two-stop work. With Kyle, he's got the clear air, so if Dominic starts becoming a bit of a mobile chicane for Hamjam, it can really prove costly for Hamjam, but it can really benefit Kyle. Oh, it's just so many factors at play, and it is really interesting to see how this can unfold, Maldi.
Definitely. Dominic then, looks like he will have to defend though soon because he's got Hamjam for company very, very closely at the moment. But the top 3 at the moment, Urban Unicorn, KF Libero and Maurice. And Maurice is in the pit lane, so there you go. Libero and Urban are both on medium, so they've had a great run on those mediums, 14 laps at the moment. And Hamjam is in that DRS, he's got the slipstream, Rixie, he's going to pull to the inside. That's going to be a pretty straightforward move for the Alfa Romeo. My old
Dominic's
teammate, would you believe? There you go, Hamjam up in a P number 3, but net P1. Now he's going to have to pull out 20 seconds on the Hungarian.
We'll see how his lap times develop now that he's got a wee bit of clear air. The next car in front is Libero, who is 6.1 seconds down the road. He is yet to pit though. Urban Unicorn and Libero are making the first set of medium tyres last as long as they possibly can here. So I'm assuming they will most likely be in the next 2 or 3 laps to put on a set of hards, and they'll be doing the same strategy as Dominic and his Toxic Fusion, Mercury, Churka, all trying to make the one-stop work. Hamjam really is in this position where he needs to get his foot down, put the pedal through the car flare, and get some decent blustering lap times in if he's want to make a two-stop strategy work. But Dominic, in that move there, he knew it wasn't his battle. He knew Hamjam was quicker. He was going to get by one way or another. He just chose not to fight it. That's the racing mentality coming in. He knows he's in this particular stint for the long haul. He will have DRS though, but I don't think he'll get alongside into turn 1, which he doesn't need. The DRS flip shuts on the braking and he tucks up behind the Alpha. And we see the 2 Toro Rosso teammates going at it again, and Eke's made the move on Matty there up to P10 as we see Matty taking a bit of a wide line coming on the entry to turn 1, taking a wee bit of curb on the outside before turning into 1. Eke will have the DRS, so he'll probably pull away from Mercury there. But Eke and the points on the set of hards. Next driver he'll be facing is LRS Mercury, who is just 3 seconds up the road for him in the Toro Rosso and his sister car, and Churka there as well in P8. So it's lap 15 of 36. Your race leader is Urban Unicorn in the Mercedes, started P12, he is in P1. He is yet to pit, however. Same way KF Libero in the Ferrari. So it's Mercedes, Ferrari, yet to pit. Then it's the Alfa Romeo, Hamjam and Dominic in very close proximity of each other. Kyle in P5 in the Haas. It's a strong showing for the Haas driver here in Mexico. Jam Ham up in P6 in the Mercedes, Toxic Fusion P7. The 2 Toros, the Churka and Mercury in P8 and P9, and Eke is rounding out your top 10 respectively in the Red Bull after the spin.
Dominic's got DRS, Rixie.
Dominic is at DRS and he retakes the net lead here, but it is P3 on track as it is in the present moment. Hamjam isn't really he hasn't really got the pace now to try and break away from Dominic. Dominic was able to keep his cell within a second, retake the place back. The medium stint, Hamjam really needs to get past Dominic, and he really needs to put in some lap times if he wants a wee bit of a chance for this two-stop strategy to work. So it's not really working out for Alfa Romeo now. It's a bold gamble. We'll need to see if it pays off in the next set of laps. Kyo is not really making too much of an inroad on this battle for P3. He's just kind of sitting on his own race in P5. He's 4 seconds of drifty Hamjam, who's ahead, and he's also 4 seconds He's also 4 seconds ahead of the brother Jamham in P6 as well. So Kyle basically running a quiet race here on P5. As we see Chucker picking up a penalty. Urban Unicorn is in the pits on lap 17 onto a set of hards. He will be aiming to go to the end there as well. Any other developments? Jamham in P6 will have Urban Unicorn coming out the pits. He's going to come out. Where is he coming out? Where's he feeding into this pack? He's feeding in between the two Toro Rossos, but Mercury's got DRS and he'll lock up the inside of turn 1. Urban Unicorn on the outside, Toro Rosso on the inside. Urban Unicorn hods it out round the outside. One there gets the inside for 2, and Mercury takes a really wide line on the exit of 3 there. Just couldn't get the car to turn in enough on the exit. But Urban Unicorn splits the two Toro Rossos after his first and only pit stop of the race. Eke is slowly but surely cutting the time down to LRS Mercury. The gap is now 2.75. So he'll be looking to get himself in about this action here in the midfield soon enough. But Libiero in the Ferrari is currently our race leader, and he is the only driver yet to make the pit stop this race. He's made the mediums that he started on last 16 laps. It will be 17 if he continues to go around again, which he does not. He comes into the pits. So Dominic, Dominic will retake the lead. Hamjam there in P2. These two, I just feel these two are just going to have a big scrap for the next set of laps, Maldi. I'm really excited to kind of see how this unfolds, because it's just been them two since the pit stops, and it's really exciting stuff here.
Definitely. Fusion side by side with Jamham.
Toxic Fusions looking to make a move there on Jamham there. Didn't make it stick, still sticks in P5. But this train here, Maldi, this train here for P4 is really hotting up. So many drivers are starting to join in this train. Eke's on his way. He's probably want to get in on this action as well. So I can expect this battle for P4 to spice itself up in the next set of laps as well. But other than that, Eke's got a 1.9 second gap to Mari's in the Alpha, then it's a 2 second gap to Matty, and then you've got Libiero and Stalio there in P12 and 13 next to each other on the track through the second sector. Gravity, the spin for him at turn 1, lap 1 really was the race start he would have expected after qualifying. He qualified in P4, it says, for what I can see in the position change delta. So he did have a good qualifying, just for it to be scuppered at the first turn. So he'll be just wanting this race to finish with a looks at it, because it's not really been his race after that collision.
Urban Unicorn side by side with Cherka now for P number 6 of the Grand Prix up the inside of turn number 2. He's not got the traction, so there you go.
And Churka's moving to the left there. He has to defend. Urban Unicorn's going to try and lock round the outside of 4, and they're going to go side by side. Churka has a wee bit of smoke coming for the tyres there. He locks up, still side by side through 5. Urban Unicorn will have the inside of 6, and then that will allow the Toro Rosso to Mercury to have a look at his teammate on the inside. Churka hods it round the outside, just able to carry enough speed round the outside of 6 and 7. Keeps P7, but Urban Unicorn makes quick work of that, and he's going to set his eyes on the Renault Toxic Fusion ahead, who has seen himself drift a wee bit away from the rear wing of Jam. Jam's able to go to sell a wee bit of breathing room there. It is 1.2 seconds, so that means that Toxic Fusion is outside the DRS detection zone. So he'll not be getting DRS down this straight, which means Urban Unicorn can have a proper attempt to get past him on the run down to 1 now, because he'll have DRS. The Mercedes flap opens. Toxic Fusion hasn't got the DRS to defend himself, so he's going to turn his ERS battery up to try and make a defence, which he doesn't. Lets Urban Unicorn go up the inside, and he has a wee bit of a walk up there, and they didn't touch, from what I could see, Maldi. I think Urban Unicorn's just got his braking a wee bit wrong there. Tyres smoked up there, locked up on the front right, and the car just seemed to have a wee bit of a wiggle on the brake, but Toxic Fusion loses out to Urban Unicorn. Mercedes 4-5. Urban Unicorn's next challenger will be his teammate, who is 1.5 seconds ahead. It'll be in clear view of the Urban Unicorn and the Mercedes. So Urban Unicorn's making quick work of the midfield here so far, and he is looking at progressing. May sign of stopping him the now, but he'll have his teammate ahead of him. So it'll be. I'm going to say it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I feel like that's what I said already, so I'll need to think of something else to say for the next 16 laps. So I'll pass it over to you. On lap 21 to 36.
Dominic getting closer and closer and closer, Rigsy, to the back of Dominic. Is going to be in DRS now. Those tyres don't even look that off, to be honest. But Rigsy, here we go, turn 1. Pretty straightforward there from Jamham once again. Sweet as you like up the inside, P number 1 for the Alfa Romeo.
And he'll have the DRS down into the run into 4. Aye, right, it's making sense to me now. After 21 laps of watching this race, Maldy, it's finally clicked in my mind that there's only one DRS detection, but there's 2 activation zones. So the main detection zone is on the exit of the last corner, or just before the last corner, and that works for them, both the DRS section and the run into turn 1 and the run into turn 4. So it's no 2 separate detection zones, it's just the one. So I was sitting there and I'm like, why are they not getting DRS when the driver then gets the move? So I was sitting there and I was just like, why is he not getting DRS? And I'm like, alright, makes sense, because it is only just the one detection zone, which I think is in the last sector. It will probably just be before the last turn, so it makes a lot more sense to me now. So that's just a wee bit of a grey area in my mind. I'll say that much. But lap 22 to 26, lap 22 to 36, Hamjam is our race leader, which could be put under severe threat as Dominic has a DRS, flap open, locks up the inside, side by side, Dominic retakes the lead. These two have just been squabbling over the same position.
Jamham and Urban as well, Mercury.
And Mercury, no, it's fine, no worries. And there's the 2 Mercedes, Urban Unicorn. It's just, has he been setting fastest laps or consistent laps? Because he seems to be I think he probably is the quickest driver on track at the moment. He might not have the fastest lap, but he's consistently quick. He's no one lap pace kid. He's no one lap pace quick, sorry, in this race. He is consistently setting quick laps. No fastest laps, but they're enough to get him to close down these gaps and make headway on the drivers ahead. He is 4.6 behind Kyle, but with the pace that Urban Unicorn is running at the moment, I feel like Kyle will have a bit of work today in the next set of laps. But Kyle, I mean, he's just been running the same race. I mean, he is closing in on Hamjam. He has been running at a gap. It was 4 seconds adrift. It is down to 3.2. So I think Dominic and Hamjam squabbling has been kind of allowing Kyle back in, but it is just closing the gap down to so many tenths of a second. But I mean, he's just been running his own race. He's not getting slipstream for anybody. He's not getting DRS. He's not getting. He's got clear air. I think that's maybe an advantage for him. But Urban Unicorn's the same, and Urban Unicorn is just looking quick. He's setting consistently fast lap times. He's been making quick work at every he needs to get by. So I think Kyle is going to have a task on his hands in the next couple of laps, because Urban Unicorn is definitely on a charge.
So Fusion then he's finds himself now behind Jamham once again. Still behind Jamham. I still get confused. We're in I believe we're in like round 17, no, round 18. Big C, right? Round 18. I'm still getting confused with the Ham brothers.
Honestly, mate, like I race in another league with them, and I'm just like that all the time. It is just. I think it's just one of these things that you'll never escape. Because I would sit there, like, see when I first started league racing, like I met Jamham, like I mind like racing along. I've been racing alongside Jamham and Hamjam for since F1 2017 in our other league, and I still get the names wrong. Like, it's just, I'm like, oh, Hamjam, and then it's like, see if I'm trying to, like, see when I first started commentating, and they two were on the same race, it was like, oh, it's Hamjam and Hamjam, or it's Jam and Jam, and you're like, no, it is neither of those things. I'm surprised they've not been like Riggs, like what the hell, like come on son, like get your act together, like. But I mean, I've says to them as a joke, like get your names changed so it's no so much a tongue twister. But I think it's also just one of the things you can just never really get right, especially when it's hectic, it's intense. If they're battling each other, it's like, oh, it's Jam Jam and Ham Jam, and you're like, nah, that's not what it is.
Jam
You
on.
need to fix it. You need to get that sorted. But I mean, like, see, when you're just like in a chilled environment. Like, I mean, Ham Jam is just he is battling Dominic, and Jam Ham is in his own battle. Even there, see now that I'm hinky getting their names wrong, I was about to do it. Like, it's psychological. It's purely just in your head. But even to this day, I still get it wrong if I'm just in a bit of a hectic situation. In my mind, is they properly at 100%. Even if it's at 99.9, you'll still get it wrong. It's just one of the things.
So then, Rigsy, Urban Unicorns up in a P number 3, and we've missed it, but Ham Jam then. Ham Jam has got the overtake done on Dominic. He's up now, back up in a P1. This is incredible performance right here from Ham Jam, and he's on very worn medium tyres, I believe, as well, Rigsy, so. He's absolutely great.
I'm trying to kind of an 8-second. He's got an 8-second lead. Ham Jam's got an 8-second lead to Urban Unicorn, who's in P3. Matty gets the fastest lap of the race by 1:17.1 on a set of fresh medium tyres. So we've seen Kyle like, in that conversation there with Ham Jam and Jam Ham, and the confusion that their names can bring. We did catch Kyle coming into the pit lane. But we were kind of too caught up in our conversation to kind of really properly announce it as we see Ham Jam coming into the pits now. So he'll probably be coming on. I'll probably suspect him to go on a set of softs, and he'll be blisteringly quick. But a pit stop here in Mexico, I would say, is about 20 seconds, and that'll bring him out either between Kyle, KF Libiero and Kyle, or it'll bring him out just in front of Kyle, just in front of Libiero. So it'll be interesting. So now he comes out just in front of Kyle. Kyle is a lot closer to Ham Jam this time round after the pit stops. It was 3.2, it's now 1.9 between the Alpha and the Haas. So Kyle has definitely made some headway, but crucially, I just noticed there, Kyle pitted for another set of mediums, so maybe he just doesn't have the confidence to go in the soft tyres to the end, whereas Ham Jam does. So I think it purely is down to driving style now for Ham Jam to make these soft tyres work and get himself cutting his way through this grid. Because if he's wanting, I mean, he's in P9, 10 laps left, fresh rubber, everybody at this point in the race will just be either getting caught up in a battle that they don't really want to be in, or they'll be conserving tyres. So this is the prime opportunity for Ham Jam to get his way, slashing his way through this field and getting them back up to the front. So we'll need to keep an eye on him. He's pushing Libiero through this final chicane in the final sector, so he'll make quick work of him. He might even get him on the exit of the final corner across the line to start lap 27. I see, like, Ham Jam's already alongside, doesn't even need DRS. DRS flag opens now for him in the Alpha. So he's got ready Libiero. That's the first person he's ticked off his list. He'll have Mari's 4.6 up the road, so we'll need to see how he progresses for here, because he'll definitely be the quickest person on track in this final stint. But his pit stop means that Dominic doesn't need to bother about MD, doesn't need to try and defend, doesn't need to battle MD. He can just save his tyres, and he can just save his ERS, keep the car facing the right way, get a consistent rhythm in, and he's got a 7.7 second buffer to Urban Unicorn, P12 to P2. If it stays that way, that is a solid performance and a serious shout for driver of the day for me.
Who's that, sorry?
Urban Unicorn, P12 to P2.
Definitely.
If it stays that way. But I mean, I could give it to Dominic just purely for qualifying and pole, maintaining the lead through turn 1, keeping the lead, we're battling Ham Jam for the lead, making the one-stop work. If I mean, still 8 laps, it's still really early days. I'm not wanting to sit here and fucking... Sorry, apologies for the F-bomb there. But I don't want to go and chuck the commentator's cuss out there. But I mean, I'd get to Hamjam Tay. He was sitting battling for the lead for so long, and he's getting a two-stop, and we need to see. I mean, Jamham can definitely make a push for it if he actually makes the soft tyres work. Gets his way past Mary's, Eke, Mercury, gets his Silver maybe into at least a P5 or a P4. He'd be a serious driver of the day shout there as well. Trying to think who else really. Jamham, I've just noticed, had just pitted there as well. So he's in P11. He's a bit of, despite running up in P4 and having a train behind him and battling with Urban Unicorn and Toxic Fusions and that, it's been quite steady for him. Toxic Fusion just kind of got caught up, got stuck behind Jam, wasn't really able to find a way past, but now he's not got that issue. Chucker running fine in P3. Mercury is still, I mean, it's not over. He's got 7 laps if he's wanting to make his way past Fusions and Chucker for the podium. So and as I say that, he's going to have Eki on the inside of the final corner. He went a bit too deep on the brakes. So Eki's up to P5 here as well, which is a brilliant recovery drive from something that he spun at turn 3 on the first lap. But Mercury's going to have a wee luck up on the inside of 1. And they're going to go side by side. He is, and the Toro also makes his way past Eki off the inside of 2. No, he doesn't. He's no alongside. So Mercury quickly retakes P5 back after his own mistake. There in the Toro Rosso, soon to be AlphaTauri after this season. I'm trying to really kind of look through. Hamjam's got clear air. He'll see Eki now, so that'll be his motivator to try and close that gap. And his own 15 laps, softer tyres. He's on 2 compound softer tyres there as well, so I don't have any qualms or issues with him closing that gap down. I would probably see him making an attempt, at least an attempt on Eki at some point in the next lap. As we see Kyle picking up.
I reckon, Riggsy, if I was about to say Jamham, if Hamjam really gets his act together, he could potentially still get a podium in this race, so it's all to play for here in Mexico.
Oh, definitely. Like, he's already cut the gap down for a sector. He's already cut the gap down by 8/10 in one sector alone. He'll not be in DRS range this lap, but he'll most definitely be in the next. But he's going to start coming up to this train for P3, so it's just a matter of how much he can get, like just how much work he can put in to get past these 4 drivers and get that podium place. I think Urban Unicorn, 3.5 seconds ahead of Chucker, is maybe a wee bit out of his reach. So I think Urban Unicorn is just in the same boat as Dominic, just save the tyres, save the ERS, keep the car facing the right way in 6 more laps, and it should be P2. But Hamjam, I would probably agree with you, Maldo. The best possible scenario for him is to make quick work of the drivers ahead, and he'll get the podium place. Start the P3, finishes P3. I think that's a solid day's work, but not.
Oh, let's not speak too soon, eh?
I mean, we'll need to. I mean, we're sitting here saying, "Oh, this will happen, this will happen." We need to see how the next 6 laps unfold, and I'm getting too carried away with all these theories and possibilities and whatever else. So I'll probably keep my mouth shut on what I think will happen in the next 5 laps. But on lap 31 to 36, Dominic is your race leader in the McLaren. I was going to say, he needs a race win. He really, I mean, Eke in 6. I mean, Dominic does need.
Well, it could be P7 in a minute.
It could be P7. Hamjam is closing in on the Red Bull. He'll have a run down to 4. He's on fresher rubber. Will he try and outbrake him into 4? Nah, he's no for it. He's probably going to wait another lap or maybe try and find some way on the second sector. But Dominic, as we were saying at the start of this race, now the qualified pole with his championship rival alongside, he needed to beat Eke, and the way it stands is like a lot of is he bringing the gap down to 27 points, or is it going to be 27 points, or is it going to?
Well, the gap is going to be much. It's going to be much closer than 27. That's only if Eke would finish second and Dominic would finish first. So it's definitely going to be a case where the championship could really go to like Brazil, right? That's where we're looking at now. So it's really good. The championship for us as spectators, it's very good that Eke had that spin on the first lap.
Aye.
Not good for Red Bull, not good for him, but it's good for us spectators. And Jam Ham now is going to Ham Jam is going to follow.
Every time it happens, it's always just finds its way in. It's just like stealth. It just creeps in at some point, and everybody falls for it. It just get your names changed, right? Get them changed. But no, I mean, as like spectators, like you're saying, Muldy, I totally agree. I feel like us as commentators, as neutrals, as spectators, even if you're fans of certain drivers like Eke, Dominic, the Jams, Hams, Urban Unicorn, everybody, if you're a fan, you want the championship decider as the final race of the season. You want it to go right down to the wire. I want it to go right down to the wire. I've made it. You want to have it going right down to the wire as well. So this would be a near perfect result for Dominic.
Oh, and Ham Jam's gone for that dive. There you go. Look at that.
And sector 3 and the tight chicane there, Ham Jam makes the move on Eke. So that's helping Dominic out there as well. That's 2 less points Eke will be getting if it stays the way it is. But yellow flags out in sector 2. What's happened there? And we see Matty's got a spin in the second sector, in the windy second sector, left, right, left.
I don't want to jinx it anything really big, but very, very interesting. Because this race started with 17 and we've still got 15 remaining. I think Fusion had a bit of a tank slapper there on the exit. But very, very good.
Very good.
That we've only lost 2 drivers from this race.
No, definitely. I mean, it is unfortunate to have lost Cody and Buckley due to incidents of their own early on in the race. But I mean, they'll be sitting in their garages and they'll just kind of reflecting on a race of what could have been, where did it go wrong, how did it go wrong, and they'll be looking with their team and with their strategy team and everybody else in their respective camps, figuring out what went wrong and how they tackle it for the next race in the United States. We are in the United States in a week's time, Monday the 13th of January, 7 o'clock.
That is going to be a good race.
7 p.m. GMT? We're GMT, aren't we? I keep getting these time zones mixed up. So we're GMT, 7 p.m, Monday the 13th of January. Tune in on STB Maldi's channel on Twitch for some more exciting racing. No shame in advertising though, is there? No shame in that. But I mean, we hope to have these along for hoping to be another spectacular race. I think a 2-week, 3-week break from our last race in Japan, Maldi has done the drivers a bit of good, because they've came to Mexico City and they've delivered yet another phenomenal race. It's been feeling like it's worth the wait. I'm not saying he's a 2-week wait every time, but I mean, it's really good just to have racing back. It really is. What?
Right, well, Rixie, we were talking about how Ham Jam, said it right, could potentially get a podium this race, but he has been struggling to get through the traffic. So, fortunately, he's only going for P5 at the moment on the penultimate lap of the race. That is not what he needs. And those softs are going to be going off very quickly. So, it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult.
I think he's kind of sitting here, and he's stuck behind Mercury now in P5. We'll have a run down into P4, into turn 4, sorry. Mercury's not really defending it. Hamjam, I don't know. I've known Hamjam. I've known he is in our league. He's a proven race winner. He is a championship contender. I mean, like, he is up there, and he is definitely deserving, and he warrants his place as a top driver in any league that he goes into. But I feel this race personally, and I mean, I think I'm maybe say it for everybody, but I think turn 1 is really easy to make the move because I feel like the track's quite wide and it's quite grippy there as well. But I think turn 4, I think we've not really seen too much. Like I would have expected maybe Hamjam to maybe say, all right, I'll try and go late on the brakes on fresher rubber. But I mean, he's on lap 9 soft tyres, so I think he's maybe kind of hitting that drop-off point. So maybe that's why he's not doing it. As Mary's leaves the session there on the penultimate lap. But Hamjam will be wanting to get by Mercury. And Mercury's pushing him!
Oh.
He's disqualified. Mary
Oh,
has been
God.
disqualified for the fail.
Oh,
and
Hamjam!
Contact there between Mercury
That
and...
wasn't very good, was it?
No, that definitely wasn't the outcome that Hamjam would have wanted there. Contact on the final lap of this race,
Carl's got
battle
as
for
well.
P5, and he's got damage on his front right end plate. His front right end plate
That is crucial as well, Rigsy. Sorry, absolutely crucial for Eke.
Eki's been the real winner out of that. He's managed to get 2 places there up into P5. But we'll speak about Eke in a moment's time as the confetti gets thrown up in the air in the stadium section in the Mexican Grand Prix, and Dominic exits the final corner. He'll see the checker flag waving up in the gantry as he crosses the line and takes a well-deserved first place. Urban Unicorn P12 to P2, a stellar drive there by the Mercedes. And Chaka will be coming on the final corner to take the final place on the podium. And with penalties, Eke takes P4.
That's got me fuming.
That has kind of put the championship. I mean, it's still a big win for Dominic. He's gained on Eke by 13 points. Because neither of them have the fastest lap. The fastest lap goes to Hamjam. No, it doesn't. It actually goes to Matty. So that means nobody gets the fastest lap point. But Hamjam will probably he'll be wanting to go and speak to Mercury after this race and see where it all went wrong.
Stadium. Look at the stadium. Absolutely beautiful.
It's in the 4 years that Formula One, like in the 4 years that Mexico's just come back onto the calendar and it's kind of making its place known in the Formula One world. It's becoming one of the iconic scenes at the end of a Grand Prix. And I really personally, I'm a big fan of that. I really love the fact that the fans go absolutely wild in that section. The confetti goes everywhere and it's all in the Mexican colours. But we are welcomed by the podium scenes here. Dominic takes the top step, pole position, and the race win. I don't think Dominic has too much to be complaining about. But Urban Unicorn, give yourself a pat on the back, son. P12 to P2. I mean, that is absolutely brilliant driving by the Mercedes driver. And Chaka, another podium finish. Solid. He's making his place known in this league as well. Getting Toro Rosso back up to the top there. But Eke benefits from not only the incident between Hamjam and Mercury when they were fighting over P5, he also benefits for Fusions by having less penalties as well. So the gap in the championship standings will come down by 13 points as it stands. And Dominic is your race winner. The top 3 there, we've just seen them all in their glory there on the Mexican podium. Eke is your man in P4 after that spin in the first lap. Toxic Fusions crossed the line in 4th, but he takes P5. 10 points for the Renault team. That'll be a soft comfort there for them after his teammate Buckley retired early on in the session after crashing at turn 3. Hamjam losing it there. He tried the 2-stop, he got P6 after the incident with Mercury, his brother Jam having P7, and the grid just disappears for me because I'm too slow to go through the actual final results.
Okay, thank you, Rixie. So we've got Dominic in the party. Unfortunately, we can't interview Churka or Urban Unicorn because they don't have mics. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick word with Hamjam here, who had a pretty good strategy going on. A pretty good strategy in terms of his going on to soft, but this didn't really work. Hamjam, you had a collision. Who was it with? So remind me.
Mercury.
Yeah,
Mercury. Take us through that, and what was going through your mind when you decided that you was going to do that two-stop strategy?
well, I'd done a race around here the other day, and the guy won had done the two-stop, whereas I'd done the one. So I thought going for the two-stop was the right idea, but I think partly my own fault. I wasn't running low enough wings, so my straight line speed wasn't great. I think if I'd gone onto the hards, I would have got an easy P2. So I made it hard for myself right there, and then just the end. I was trying to get past. I mean, I felt Mercury squeezed me out, but I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I tried to hold it around the outside, and I could have just waited. If I'd waited, I would have got P3. So it was, 50-50, I'd say. I'm not gonna blame anyone for it.
I believe Churka's here. Churka, are you able to have an interview, or is that not possible? Oh, you can. Okay. Okay, Churka. I don't know how your English is, but I'll just ask you a quick question. You finished third? Finished third. Oh, got some.
I can speak English, but I don't know. I can hear.
Okay, never mind then, Churka. But well done on the results in Mexico. Okay, we're going to go to Mercury then. Mercury, you looked pretty strong actually in this race in the opening stages. What went wrong?
Just this track. I said from the start that the penalty system on this track in particular is something else. It's off the scale. I felt like I had the pace. In the practice, I think I was quick race pace, but I always knew penalties were going to let me down around here.
Okay, thank you, Mercury. Dominic. So, another victory. How are you feeling after that race? How important was it for you to get a win this evening? Okay. Thank you, Dominic. Okay, thank you to everyone who has competed this evening, everyone who has finished this Mexican Grand Prix. It's been an absolute cracker, an incredible midfield battle, and an incredible race for Dominic, who now is only 20 points behind Eke with 3 races remaining. Thank you, Rigsy, once again for joining me in the commentary box for this Mexican Grand Prix. Thank you to Mercury and Hamjam, who didn't finish on the podium, but did answer some questions here in the interview, the post-race interviews. So that concludes then your 18th round of the season, the Mexican Grand Prix at the Autodromo Manos Rodriguez. Me and Rigsy will see you next week for the third to last race of the season. It's going to be an absolute cracker. It's going to be one of them. It is one of the more iconic STB tracks. Remember, season 2. 7-car battle for the whole race. So we're hoping for something more like that in America. We'll see you next week at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas for the United States Grand Prix. We'll see you then.